Hey Chrissy. Hey Fatima. Hello. How are you doing, ladies? Hope you are well. Okay, so I'm just going to give it a couple of minutes because we are a little bit early. Let's see. Oh, I'm going to have to. I am going to have to make my screen bigger so I'm not having to put my face really close to the screen. How is everyone? I cannot believe we are like on the final run of this month. It's like it's crazy. At one point I thought, oh, this month's not dragging, it's all right. It's just going at a normal, steady rate, just like time does. And then I was thinking, oh my God, this is like the longest month ever, but in a really good way. So let's have a look. Let me see. Yeah, we've got a couple more days left. Saturday is the last day of the month. So I hope uh, I'm really quiet. Oh, can you hear me now? Can you hear me okay? Let me know. All right, I'll open that. Right, I'm really quiet. Let me know if you can hear me all right or if I need to. I don't know. Let me see. I don't even know where my little microphone thing is. Oh, I have just turned the volume up there. Right, 1 second. I'm just going to recording in progress. Resume that. Right, okay, so I've got my notes on my phone. I've been adding to them over the last couple of days. So since my tired episode on Friday, and when I think I've been talking about mindset for a couple of weeks now, and I always like to rather than structure too much of what the content of these Zooms are going to be about, I'd rather just have a look and see what kind of inspires me, what motivates me to, what really gets me passionate, what's going to help me get a message across. But I can't just come on and do like some sort of generic training just for the sake of it. And the one-to-ones that I've been having with people the last couple of weeks, but particularly the last few days, it's really got me thinking about this. So I was absolutely exhausted on Friday, and I felt myself compelled to keep continuing doing my work commitments. So I had a one-to-one with a lady in my team in the morning, and I've known her for a long time, but even as I'm speaking to her, I'm thinking, oh, I am not showing up and giving you my absolute best. So I'm kind of doing you a bit of a disservice here. And it's just had me thinking. So I spent quite a lot of the weekend doing like some behind the scenes work, but I was very, very conscious of the energy that I was bringing towards my business. And considering this is something that I have spoken about quite consistently the last couple of months about being authentic, about being intentional, about not working harder or doing more, but more being more and making sure that you are aligned and you're on point. And I found myself feeling absolutely exhausted, deflated, and it was frustrating because there were all these different things that I wanted to do, all these different aspects of my business that I wanted to see growth in. But I was just absolutely shattered. You know, when like I wanted to get my hula hoop and what's it called? A resistance band. So I've got a resistance band, and I thought I just woke up and thought I wonder if I can do those both things together. So I Googled them and I thought that's brilliant, you can do. So I felt like I had this conflict between wanting to get up and do this workout and then feeling absolutely exhausted to the point where I find my cat in the fridge and my eyes are no longer in synchronization. It was just a bizarre day all round. So this is kind of what has triggered me into wanting to talk about it and to address it. And I even had a lady message me today to say that she was unable to watch the Zoom call tonight. She's feeling very overwhelmed, and she just wanted to let me know that she can't come on. I'm like, that's absolutely fine. You don't owe me anything. And I think when your business starts to be the actions that you're doing are more pressured rather than coming from a place of peace and passion and creativity and that nice positive energy, that's when you are going to come up against frustrations. It's going to be when you feel overwhelmed and when you don't put any work in, or maybe you get frustrated and you think, oh, this just isn't working for me anymore. Like a couple of months ago, your business was working absolutely fine. You have different seasons, but sometimes when you are feeling like the weight of the world is on your shoulders and your mood is a bit down, your energy levels are a bit depleted, something's going on, something's adrift, you're not going to be showing up for your business in the best way. So what I wanted to do is to just talk about this because this is something that I am familiar with and something that I am aware of, but I think this is what has come from me spending the last 11 years focusing on my personal growth and having that aligned with the growth of my business. So, we're talking about tonight building a business without burning yourself out. Okay, so this isn't just for network marketers. This could be applied to anybody, any aspects of your life. But where you've got an element where you need to be consistent. You need to have an element of professionalism. You've got to show up in a particular way. I think it's really important for us, particularly in this space where we don't have anybody else holding us accountable, that we can kind of utilize self-care as some sort of success strategy, but also not deflect from getting things done. We need to be tapping into that high frequency. We need to be showing up intentionally, but making sure that we are tapped into that passion that we find from this business. There's things that we love that we've spoken about, and there's just sometimes I think there can be some confusions as to what that can look like, and over time, if you leave it unchecked, how it can end up being a state of, oh, business is really good. I'm really busy. I'm busy, busy, busy doing all these different things. And you over promise people, you over commit to things because you think that if you're really busy, if you've got lots on, if you're like, oh, I'm frazzled because I'm a business owner, I'm growing this huge business. If you're associating those words with having growth and success, it's very old school hustle culture. I think you will likely end up at a point where you do have burnout, or when you do eventually take a step back. So sometimes you're forced to take a step back and you look at your organization and you may not have had any growth at all because you've just been in maintenance mode, you've just been in survival mode, your head just bobbing above the water. So I just want to go through for the next 20 minutes, highlighting some of these things, and just maybe if you recognize something in yourself, just make a note of it and then go away. Like I always say at the end of these calls, take like 10, 15 minutes to yourself just to check in with yourself and just have a word and think, am I operating my business? Am I showing up from a place of depleted energy? Am I feeling a bit burnt out? What can I do to alleviate that? Or am I showing up feeling energetically invigorated? Are you in that space of creativity? Are you able to see your vision because you're not bogged down with this constant busyness? So that's what we're going to talk about. So being professional doesn't mean that you are constantly working and constantly busy. It just means that you are being intentional. So you've got two different points that I will just point out as well. And some of you may be on this call and you may either recognize it in yourself or you've got people in your team. So you've got the people who treat this business like a hobby. And you pick it up when you want to, you just do the fun parts, the bits that you need to do, but you don't want to do, you just step away from it. And then you wonder why your results are inconsistent. And then you've got people, like I just mentioned, who treat it like a grind. So maybe they've got experience of running a business before, maybe they've been in network marketing and they're like, right, okay, so I've got to go 100 miles an hour. I've got to have this huge, huge, huge level of action. And then it's not sustainable. And yes, you might have had lots of people come in, you might have had lots of energy, you've built up lots of momentum. But if you then come to a grinding halt and burn out, that's not going to be sustainable. You're going to end up going AWOL, and then you're not there to support or guide your team. You've not plugged anybody into any systems. So we're going to talk about that sweet spot between having some structure and having some self-respect. So you cannot build a sustainable income from a dysregulated nervous system. So when I was talking to you about my Friday twitchiness and the cat episode, it really rang home where I thought, oh my God. I mean, it is that time of the month, but I think as women and women in business, it's not necessarily a bad thing. Well, it's not the best thing, but it can serve as a reminder for us to just stop, take a minute and listen to what our bodies are telling us, what's our mind telling us, how are we showing up, and to check your nervous system. Okay, yeah, professional mindset. So this is, I want to talk to you now about reframing your professionalism in this business. So like I've mentioned, it's not about being busy, busy, being online 24/7, saying yes to everyone and having that hustle culture. I mentioned it before, and I think if you've been in this industry for quite a while, you may have read books by Eric Worre, Rob Sperry, and there's lots of different ones, even Bob Proctor, Jim Rohn, loads of different people who, not necessarily in the network marketing space, but they are influential, they are entrepreneurs, they've got experience, but they're men. And to you men that are on here, that may relate to you, but even in 2026, there's going to be some elements where it's just not quite translated. And I think for women in this business who associate being a business owner as putting on a suit and being some white middle class man, you're going to come across those frustrations because unless you are that person, you're not going to relate to it, and it's not going to fulfill your needs. You're not going to be aligned. So that hustle, I think it's got a whole new meaning or completely different meaning when we look at it from a more female perspective. It can be softer. We can, we're being assertive. We're asserting what it is that we are wanting. Um, so I'm just having a look at the comments there. Don't worry about it, Anita. So what it does mean, professionalism, being consistent with your activity, whatever that looks like, and just being consistent with it, having clear working hours, having emotional maturity, leading yourself first, having those boundaries set in. And I particularly love the clear working hours because many of us have day jobs. I say many of us. Like I'm saying about me, the only day job is the unpaid one, overlooking after four children, two cats, two dogs, and my home. Um, so you're not going to be on your phone all the time, and nor do you want to be. When you find that you are picking up your phone because it's a laborious chore that you have to do something, that's when you're going to associate it with all, have these negative connotations with what it takes to build a business. And that's not what this is about. So I'm highlighting some of the things that maybe you've fallen into the trap of doing. And I've been there myself, and it's quite easy to do. And I hope that the message you get from this is me giving you permission to put your phone down. I'm looking at these building bricks and just putting your phone down. I've got my phone in my hand here, just putting your phone down and just taking a minute to breathe. Particularly like going before you go to bed, putting your phone down like an hour before you need to. Have your alarm set, but have your phone on charge somewhere else throughout the night. Don't have it under your pillow right next to you. When you wake up in the morning, not going straight to your phone, noticing you've got messages and replying to them. And you've got to have those boundaries, respect those boundaries, particularly if you are wanting, which I'm guessing if you're on this call now, you're wanting to build a business. When it says leading yourself first, this is what I mean by that is, um, having your own business first. So your daily activities, making sure that you're doing what you need to do to grow your business first before you touch base with your team and discussing what they need. You don't need to be doing one-to-ones back to back every single day off that you have. And also some of you that have experienced one-to-ones with myself, I'll have given you caveats. I'm not going to have a call with anybody for like 30 minutes or 15 minutes if we're going over the exact same thing all the time. And I don't mind saying those things as well. I'll say, look, this is what we discussed last time. If you want to one-to-one with me, go away and implement it. And then let me see the evidence of it. And then we'll talk about having a one-to-one. And that's not being rude or unhelpful. It's just respecting your own time and boundaries, but also you showing up as a leader and you showing up that you're taking this business seriously, that it's not just a hobby. That we don't get paid per hour. We're not, we're paid on productivity and results, but that doesn't mean that we have to slave over our phones and offer absolutely everything to everybody and not serve ourselves first. So leading yourself first is also serving yourself first. Okay. So you don't ever cancel your business just because you don't feel like doing it. Honestly, I don't feel bad today, but there's something that's going adrift, but I'm showing up. But I'm also honoring the fact that I'm getting pulled in a different direction. And I think that's also really important because if you feel like, something you can't go 100 miles per hour on that day. Maybe you had a list of things that you wanted to do and you're going to have a really productive day, but something comes up. So maybe you just adjust the level of intensity that you do. Maybe you can only get through half of those jobs or whatever it is, but you don't disappear. You just have to make it simple. You have your non-negotiables and you just simplify your systems. You make sure that you just adjust. We don't stop. You don't trauma dump online, we process offline and lead with strength. I think this is an important one because I think it also sometimes can sound contradictory when we talk about being vulnerable. When we talk about being vulnerable, we're sharing the human aspects. We're trying to have an emotional connection with people and showing that we are normal and these things happen, but we soldier on. So this is where your emotional maturity comes in, where you think, right, okay, so I'm going through something right now, and you take yourself away, you do your self-care, you do your reflection, you read your books, you get into nature, you do those things that you need to do to connect into that higher level of energy, that higher frequency, so that you give yourself breathing space to just process how you're feeling and then how you're going to show up. When you feel something and you are reactive and you're too reactive with your business, then you're going to do that regardless whether you've got a challenge come up in your life and you just react and you go straight away on social media to share it. Just same as like when something amazing happens or you find out that there's a new product or the company's launching in a new market and you just go straight away and you blurt it out. That's dumping. That's just dumping too much. It's not being intelligent, it's not being mature or anything like that. So, and also I think when you do those sorts of things, it's kind of erratic and it ties in with not having enough structure, not being strategic, lacking some self-control and professionalism. And I think sometimes when you are in a place where you are just busy, 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 and you're like, oh my God, I need to tell people this, I need to tell people that, right, okay, that happened to me today. So that's a vulnerable moment. I'll share that. And it's just go, 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 go. You're not going to come across as professional. So then when you're having conversations with people about this business, are they going to take you seriously or are they going to think that you are a disorganized, chaotic mess who is not bound to have any sort of success. So therefore, how can you lead somebody else to success? So I think going from my experience, having those boundaries in and having that balance and having that self-awareness can really help hone it in so that you are making sure that you're showing up intentionally, you're being authentic with a level of professionalism, you're being consistent, and it's coming across with the best kind of creative energy that you can do. Right, I've written down some books as well. Um, because I really don't think that we talk enough about self-care and what it looks like or what it can do and personal growth, personal development. I think sometimes when you have a massive wealth of experience in an organization, you can sometimes forget the things that actually helped you overcome hurdles that other people that are now relatively newer to this industry could be going through. So I'll talk about some habits that do align with our brand, particularly our nutrition brand. But I'd also like you to just consider, if you're not doing this already, incorporating them with the personal development. And I think, and the emphasis is on personal, obviously it's developing you, but it's finding something that you can relate to, finding content that you can relate to. So little things like it's not just candles and nice bubble bath. That's not what self-care is. It's making sure that you're getting enough sleep, making sure that you are exercising, and it doesn't have to be a resistance band while you do your hula hooping, 30 minutes after you've had your pre-workout, so you're high as a kite and you're highly caffeinated and you're all worked up, ready to go. It can just be going for a nice walk. Could be dancing. I absolutely adore dancing. Wednesday night, I am switched off from my business and I have a couple of hours where I am dancing with like-minded women, and it just gets you out of your head and into your body, and it's really good energy as well. Eating to fuel focus. This again, it ties in. If you have this notion that running a business has to be busy and it has to be stressful and you've got to be overworking yourself, what does that person do? Does she prepare nice, healthy meals? Does she take her time? Does she romanticize her food? Is she on her phone while she's eating? Is she eating in the car? Is she's on the go? Are you grabbing snacks and thinking, oh, I'll just grab a chocolate bar and a bag of crisps and having that? Are you drinking sugary drinks? All of those things. So it's really getting to that nitty gritty. We've spoken before about being not, it's not about doing more, it's about being more. Think about the person you're becoming and these habits, such as your outlook and your mindset towards your business, but how that is also mirrored in your life. Are you getting enough sleep? Are you structured with it? Do you put your phone down or do you allow yourself to scroll? If you see messages coming through at like 10:30 on the night time from somebody in your team who wants to know when something's coming in stock, are you then going out and trying to find the answer? Are you being the resource? Or are you having strict boundaries where you don't open it, you put it on unread and you deal with it during your working hours? Taking breaks before burnout hits and just having those moments where, like on Friday, I wasn't feeling particularly burnt out. I was just really, really tired, but I felt like I was pressured, like I had to show up on social media, that I had to make sure my stories were filled, that I had to be responding to messages, to fulfill my one-to-one commitments. And this is when I thought, if I continue like this, it's not sustainable and I will end up being burnt out and you lose your passion and focus for what it is that really fuels you and gets you going. So having that self-awareness is really important. And also not working from guilt. So like I said, not working because you feel like you're pressured to do it. Like nobody puts that pressure on yourself other than you. So that's the last thing you want to be doing. If you're tired, you're going to create tired energy and that's going to trickle through your team. So that one-to-one that I did with Kerry on Friday morning probably wasn't the best, but it's okay because we will reschedule when I'm feeling better. And I'll tell you now, and I'll hold myself accountable for this, the next time I am feeling particularly low energy and it's not something that I can give myself a quick fix to, I will rearrange schedules because I would much rather show up and be able to give 100% that positive, calm, focused energy than whatever that was on Friday when my eyes weren't even working properly. Okay, and it's okay. I'm showing you now, it's okay to show up and be a work in progress. I've never, ever, ever said that in order to be any particular leader, you must show up perfect. That is absolutely a rubbish standard to put on anybody, least of all yourselves. Um, okay, your audience can feel when you're forcing it as well. And rest is not a reward, it is a requirement. So, and it doesn't have to be fancy rest, even if it's like, and this, I think if you, I'm talking to the mums now, I'm talking to those who you've spent hours looking after your house, looking after the kids, and then you get a couple of hours where you've got nobody needing you. It's just you. And you feel guilty watching the television. Like, who else has ever done that? You've put the TV on and you're like, oh, I feel guilty because I could be tidying my daughter's room, or I could be baking buns or something. So when the kids come home, they've got some nice snack. I could go to the shop and buy them new snacks. You always have an endless list of jobs that you could be doing. But just honoring yourself and having that rest, it is absolutely essential. And it's not something that we should feel guilty for. And I think, particularly for women in business, in this business where we are holding ourselves accountable, we need to make sure that we are structured with not just our income producing activities and our business activities and how we're showing up on social media, but also what we're doing to make sure that our mindset, our mental well-being, our body, how that is, and the two need to be aligned so that we are showing up energetic. And I don't mean like woo woo hyped up energetic. I mean that peaceful. It's coming from the opposite of a place of chaotic. It's coming from a place where you've been focused. It's intentional. It is professional. It is, it's out of decision. It's on purpose. It is purposeful and it's aligned. Okay, so I've got you a couple of little tasks for you. Oh, here we go. I did find a quote that I wanted to put in there. If I ran my body the way some people run their business, no brakes, no fuel, and no boundaries, it would collapse. And that is absolutely true. So I'll say it again. Again. If I ran my body the way some people run their business, with no brakes, no fuel, and no boundaries, it would collapse. So, can you see how we have that synchronicity here now? Because we have this emphasis on making sure that we are in the right physical state, we're in the right mental state, we're focused, we have clarity, we're at peace, we have that vision that we've set out on, we know what it is we need to be doing and how we need to be showing up, we know why we're showing up, we've got the products that are going to help us with that, and we're going to do that and initiate it into our business and help other people. But we must make sure that we're sticking to it. If we're making rules for ourselves, if we're making these rules and disciplines and structures and systems for our business, we need to have those for ourselves as well. Because if any one of those collapses, well, it's all just going to be a collapse mess. If you're absolutely exhausted and the only way you're showing up is from a place of exhaustion, you're not going to be passing on the energy. Everybody else is going to feel deflated. It's not going to inspire action. It's not going to inspire professional, purposeful action. And then your business is just going to collapse, just like your body would. So we are going to be looking after our sleep. We will tune into the trainings, the 11 ones. They are brilliant. We've got different people speaking on different things. Christina's on a Friday. She does talk about how to practically tap into that higher energy, that higher frequency. So you're ending the week with that energy and you're going into the weekend. We've got Vicky Ford on a Sunday. She also does a lot of mindset training as well. So we've got an abundance of people who bring different energies and different focuses and different training things. And the amazing thing is you don't have to just tap in at 11:11. It is very nice to do so there. You get your phone there, you've got your cup of coffee, you've got your drink, you drop your shoulders, you make sure that your tongue's not stuck to the roof of your mouth. You give yourself a little shake up, you maybe add some music on, and you're in the right focus, the right frame of mind to take in that information, to take in that training. I'm going to mention a couple of books. You might have heard some of them before. There's the Let Them Theory, Good Vibes, Good Life. That is a brilliant book. The Diary of a CEO. Now, although that is very work related, he does go into there's an undercurrent of mindset there. The universe has your back. That is a brilliant one. That's Gabrielle Bernstein. She also has a set of cards, which I'm looking around for. I don't have them to hand. The universe has your back. I remember that one was a very pinnacle book for me that I read a few years ago, where it helps you just relinquish some of those external pressures you might have applied on yourself when you are so consumed by the results you want from your business that you have forgotten about the process and enjoying that process and having that trust that you're doing the action and it's all going to fall into place. You just have to do it. And when you have that level of trust in yourself and that confidence that in what you're doing, and the confidence in the brand, we've got the products, we've got everything like that, we've got the systems, you've got your uniqueness. All you got to do is just look after yourself and show up, bring your best foot forward and be consistent. But that was a really, really good book. They talk about the law of attraction as well. She interchanges God with power, the power source, the universe. So it really doesn't matter if you are religious or spiritual or none of the above. I think it's something that most people will be able to find something that they can relate to. Couple of things that I like to do to tap into my energy source is to dance. I also like to get some fresh air and go for a walk, go to the beach, go to the trees, anywhere in nature. If you ever actually hugged a tree, I honestly, if you forget about caring about what other people might think, they might be like, oh, look, that's Sadie hugging a tree, or oh, there's a random person hugging a tree. It doesn't matter. They probably don't even care because they're so consumed with themselves. But honestly, go try and hug a tree, or put your feet in a stream, or just go and stand at the edge of the waves lapping up, and you can't help but just take a deep breath and feel that energy. Whatever it is that does it for you, make that a part of your schedule, about your day to day. I know this is a leadership call, and I know we often talk about all different leadership strategies, and maybe some of you are wanting some magical dust or something, some tips and tricks to help you push for some massive goal that you've got for this month. When at the end of the day, everything that you need to get the success out of this business, you already have it inside you. But if you're too stressed, if you're too overwhelmed, if you're not tapped into that energy source, if you are not focused, if you've not got the right framework, if you've not got that right mindset, then you're going to be plodding along, doing a whole lot of busy, getting yourself burnt out, and you'll completely miss the point. So, this business is meant to be enjoyable and fun and rewarding in many different ways. So, as cliche as it might sound, you need to divorce the results and just marry the process. And that goes hand in hand with that process of your own personal development and how that aligns and ties in with the development and growth of your business. Has anybody got any questions at all? Can you just repeat those? So you want the books? I'm pretty sure I've sent you a screenshot of these before. So you've got the let them theory. That's very good if you sometimes find yourself consumed with what you think other people are going to think, or what other people actually are thinking, because some people just love to give their opinion, don't they? Good vibes, good life. I can't think of his name. Let me just get my Audible up. Um, Bex King. He's a brilliant author. These are really good people to follow on YouTube as well. And when you start watching these kinds of videos, like the 5 minute ones while you're brushing your teeth in the morning, whilst you're getting ready, have them in your ears while you go for a walk, or listen to them when you're doing your makeup. There's however you want to consume it, or actually get the books. These are really, really good. And when you do follow them, you'll see that you'll hear the shorts and it will recommend other people, and there'll be something and you'll listen to it, and I absolutely love this. Like whenever I'm in a state of consuming things that are going to help develop me, it does fuel your energy. You can pause it, you can make a note of it, you think on it, and you might hear something like, God, I used to listen to Tony Robbins and Les Brown over and over and over again. And you could listen to the same 5 minute, 10 minute clip repeatedly, and each time you'll hear something different. It's like it speaks to you. Okay. Just reading the comments. My kids need to go to bed. That's good again. I think mine actually are in bed actually for a change, which is good. But yeah, and some of these books, so The Universe Has Your Back, I would recommend actually buying a physical book and going and sitting under a tree or sitting on the beach, taking a little picnic with you just for you. Like do a flask of your collagen coffee and add your chocolate collagen in there, add some of your creatine in. do like a really nice salad or a fruit salad and loads of colours, something that's going to be really nice. And, make sure you're warm and you're comfortable. Lay something down. You've got no distractions. You go child free and you can go and sit there and just take in your surroundings, take a minute to breathe, eat some nice food, take your time to process it, read a chapter of your book or read a couple of pages, put it down and just simply be. I think sometimes we forget about that. Yeah, actual books. But that's if you read your book in bed. Don't read your book in bed. Honestly, when I read The Secret, I remember exactly where I was. I pulled up on the westward. It's this beautiful pastures. I went and sat by a tree. I felt the grass. I took my shoes off, did some grounding, and I read some of it. And then I put it down, and I just felt it. And that act in itself is just it's absolutely brilliant. So honestly, I'd highly recommend that. So I'm gonna get going now, otherwise I'll just end up repeating myself. But we have only got a few more days after the month. I understand that you're gonna go and smash it. You've got businesses to run, you've got people who you want to support and help. Um, but just make sure that you're fueling yourself as well. Make sure that that stems from yourself, that you have that culture of setting boundaries, refueling yourself in every sense of that word, um, and respecting those rules that you put into place, and then enjoying it. And then it'll before long, we'll be going into February and we'll be talking about smashing those goals. So thank you so much for your time. Any questions, you can always send me a message and I will reply to you during my working hours. And I will speak to you all soon. Thank you very much. Good evening.